All right. So comic book review time. I am approaching this review as I'm gonna try to keep the social media issues and everything going and the drama over there away from this review. But today I am reviewing the new released first issue of a 6 issue run for Alan Scott Green Lantern from Tim Sheridan. Uh, and it's I'm a big Green Lantern fan. Everyone knows this. I have 2 Green Lantern tattoos. Obviously, I have the Ion logo right there, and I've got a big Green Lantern on my back. I am a huge, huge fan. And I was really excited because DC is really giving us a lot of good Green Lantern right now. We have the regular Donna DC Green Lantern run that's going on. Then we have Green Lantern War Journal, which is just right now, even after 1 issue in, I love what they're doing with John Stewart completely. And this is, mind you, I've been since New 52s and then into Rebirth and everything. Green Lantern's been kind of iffy to me, not consistent enough. To the point where I wasn't pulling Green Lantern. I was reading them uh, digital on the DC app or waiting and then just getting a digital version of the trades. So for me having 3 separate Green Lantern runs on my pull list is just crazy. It's been a long time. I haven't pulled you know this much Green Lantern literally since New 52s, and then I kind of got burnt out on it, and I didn't like the direction it was going. But Alan Scott is one of my favorites, like Golden Age, and mind you, I'm not a big fan of the JSA. I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm not a big fan of the Justice Society. Um, not really. I was never really a big fan of any of DC's groups that they've done. Like Red Hood and the Outlaws, even Justice League. I was like Justice League. I'm like wishy washy on it. I like my solo runs. So I will have to address this one time. This is the first time we've gotten a freaking Alan Scott solo run in 74 years. Like this should be a big deal, and I feel like the hype that I built in my head because I didn't read any preview stuff. I just knew Alan Scott was coming back. 6 issue run. That's all I knew because DC is doing this whole Golden Age thing going on right now. And I will say also from a Golden Age, I'm not going to be picking up Jay Garrick, the Flash, or Wesley Dodds, the Sandman. Those just don't appeal to me. I'm not a Jay Garrick fan. Like I said, I'm not a big JSA person. And from a Golden Age and Silver Age comic standpoint, like it's Alan Scott and I love OG. Really just unserious Aquaman. I really do. But wasting enough time. Let's get into the my I guess my review of this comic. And I want to flat out say, just starting everything off, I don't really care that they made Alan Scott gay. And I know this happened back in the New 52s when they did Earth 2, and then also in the Green Lantern 80th anniversary issue thing, there was a little blip there, and then also um at one point in the comic it did make a reference to a short story from Dan Sheridan that was in DC Pride Through the Years that came out this past summer during Pride Month, which I didn't pick up because if anyone follows my podcast, I haven't really been pulling DC up until this Donna DC stuff. And over the summer, really, I even in spring, I cut back drastic on my pull list. I wasn't really pulling anything outside of some indies. And so the whole Alan Scott being gay thing does not um, bother me because the story is what matters to me. And I will say, I could see how this book would appeal to queer comic book fans. I don't know if it's because a lot of people are saying on social media, queer fans, this and that. So I assume that's the proper lingo for this comic. Uh, I personally, okay, I'm just gonna flat out say it. The artwork from seeing Tormy, really good, gives me that OG Golden Age vibes. Matt Erms, like the coloring is so good, like that really got that. I will say, to its credit, it's a good looking comic. Artwork is good. That's a way to draw me in. I like the OG freaking Golden Age cover. Like it looks clean. Writing wise, so in one of the pages it literally says check out DC Pride and this and that, and I go and I check it out to maybe get some more context for what's going on with this story. And the DC Pride short story is basically just an older Alan Scott recounting what's basically happening in this comic. But there's also a time jump, like between the two, like talking back. I will say I do like when there's like that narration of it, and I think Lucas Gattoni did the lettering. I do like that there's kind of like torn out page for the kind of dialogue when it was like, monologues or narrating. The story very light on action. Okay, there's very little to no real action in this comic. Maybe a page and a half, 2 pages, but even then, it's not like action. Everything here is setting up what we're gonna get for our Red Lantern, and I was like, you know what, that's fine, Everything like this is basically early era Alan Scott before he was Green Lantern, and Project Crimson with the Crimson Flame. So obviously going into a more origin go for the Red Lantern, which we know was kind of not kind of, definitely a new villain that was introduced post New 52s. So this isn't like a classic, Golden Age villain. I don't. There's certain like elements of the story that just kind of like seem out of character. Like Alan Scott not wanting to be a part of the JSA, basically being blackmailed by the FBI like leader who's J. Edgar Hoover, and the JSA is basically being controlled by the government. And I was just like, this is interesting, especially because Director Hoover basically is blackmailing him. He knows the Green Lantern's Alan Scott, and I was just, and he has basically photos of him with his boyfriend, and he's using it to blackmail him. And I'm just like, okay, and this is like all taking place in like the time frame of like 41, 42, and then the flashbacks are to like the mid 30s, like 35, 36. And so the flashbacks are basically Alan Scott and his boyfriend Johnny, who are working on Project Crimson and trying to find this Crimson Flame. And also, the discovery of Alan Scott talking about, basically this uncharted waters for his relationship and his sexuality. And I was like, okay, that stuff doesn't bother me when it's just in a comic. Like if you look at all my indie stuff and this and that, like I can pull like left and right comics where like that there's thematic, stuff like that. But it's like for Green Lantern, there was a lot of setting up for issue 2, which I kind of predicted, especially when you get halfway through it. I'm like, okay, we're gonna have some cliffhanger, and we did. And it just wish, like, it doesn't feel like Green Lantern right now. It doesn't feel like Alan Scott Green Lantern. We even got, Jay Garrick has a brief appearance in there. I do like the mystery of them playing the seed of how can someone drown to death and get 2nd-degree burns at the same time, or 3rd-degree burns. I was like, that's kind of intriguing, little air of mystery there, but it wasn't. That was it. It was just like not even a whole page. There's too much. Like, you have to find a balance when you're making a comic book. There's no balance right now to the Alan Scott personal life and Alan Scott Green Lantern. And this is a 6-issue run, so spending this much time on how building up in the first issue, I'm like, it may mess with the pacing. I don't know. Like I said, I'm still gonna pull it because a Green Lantern fan. I'm hopeful. Basically, I'm ignorantly optimistic. But as of right now, like, I whenever I read a comic, my main thing is, can I recommend this to a friend? Can I be like, yo, you gotta check this out? Like good friend of mine, Rollover Queen reviews here on YouTube. Go check out his channel. He is killing it with his comic book coverage and his live streams. Like he'll sit there and he'll, you know, Wonder Woman #1 just came out last month, and he'll be like, "Yo, what? It's good." Blah, blah. And I'm like, "Really? All right, I'll go check it out." And then I was like, "Damn, this is good." Or when he was hyping up and gassing up freaking Green Arrow #1 for Donna DC, and I was like, "All right." And then, you know, but for me, can I go on social media? Can I be like, "Bro, you guys gotta check out Alan Scott Green Lantern #1"? No, because I'm unsure of this comic right now. I'm unsure if this is actually going to be good, and I don't know from a like it's only a 6 issue run, so it's one of the ones where it was already announced as a 6 issue. I don't think, even if it sold good in the set, I don't think it would be a continuation. Like, oh, it's going from 6 issues to 10 issues. I don't think that's the case. Um, but I, other than the time frame and some of the artwork, I'm not getting the OG golden age Alan Scott vibes from reading this comic. Now, I will go into some issue, like some of the not controversies, but okay, so this isn't retconning really too much. Okay, we know that Alan Scott is gay. This does not change, his 2 kids, his 2 marriages, Obsidian being a thing, because that's it's just not that he still had kids, you know. I think it's interesting that it's a big focal point in this run. And I don't know how big it's going to be throughout the rest of the issues, by the way, because I've only read the first one. I don't have a preview for the second one. So I don't know how much of the relationship side of Alan Scott and like Johnny and everything else is actually going to be in here. And I want more of the JSA stuff. Not even though I'm not a fan of JSA, I want to see more of the Green Lantern stuff. That's what I want to see. And I don't know. It's I don't know how to describe the comic and not being overly negative, because it's not horrible. It's not bad. It's a good comic. It's good. But like for me, if I get a comic and it's good, I'll get the second issue. And if the second issue doesn't do it for me, then I'm not pulling it anymore. Or I may just wait and get digital. Like I got the digital copy last night because I don't go to my comic book store on Tuesdays. I go on Wednesdays because that's when all the other comics come out. So just DC coming out on Tuesday, it's like I'm not going there twice in 1 week. I have a pull list. I'll just go on Wednesday and get everything. Now, they aren't open yet because it's early in the morning. So I got it digitally last night because I was really curious. I was like, let me see. I was looking. I saw some YouTube videos. I saw some tweets. I was like, screw it. Let me just pick it up digitally. It's a couple bucks. Why not? And I'm still getting my physical copy for the collection because I got a very extensive Green Lantern comic book collection. But man, I just I will say the last I want to say out of the last, because it's only 25 pages, but like with the ads and this and that, there's like a lot of there's only like 21 or 21, maybe 22 pages total. I will say the last like 4 to 5 pages were like where I was really invested in it, because this was them finding the Crimson Flame. It was uh, Alan Scott and Jay Garrick, and with the whole like dead body, and then going into just more um, flashbacks between 41 and 36 with I know this man, so it's like everything that's happening in 41 or 42 is directly tied to everything that happened in 1936. So I was like, okay, this is intriguing. Stuff like that intrigues me. I'm like, ooh, okay, that's like a callback. Give me more of that. Just those last couple pages were like the best in the comic, from like a story and even some of the artwork and the coloring with all the red and everything. Like it looked really good, you know. Just man, I was so hopeful. I really was, and like I just don't know. I'm not like I'm probably gonna say like I'm unsure of this in like the thumbnail because I'm really unsure about this book now. Do I wish I looked into it more beforehand and maybe read some previews? No, I was gonna get it regardless. It's Green Lantern. Um, I just 74 years since a Green Lantern Alan Scott solo run, and yet like this is what they give us for the first issue. Now I could have to change my tune because issues 2, 3, 4, etc. turn out so good that I'm like, all right, I was wrong. You were cooking, Tim Sheridan. But as of right now, and I don't know Tim Sheridan personally. I don't really. I'm not familiar with a lot of his work outside of the 2021 Shazam uh, issues that he did, and I have those. I'm a fan of Shazam. Uh, wasn't the best, but I didn't really. None of the Flashpoint or Teen Titan Academy or Future State Teen Titan like none of that stuff. I didn't read any of it, and I never planned on it, and I never plan on it because that's not really my cup of tea. I'm not really Titans fan, honestly. Uh, but yeah, that's man, that's it. That's it for my review. Uh, if you're curious about it, I mean, check it out. Get a digital, see if you like it, or go. Obviously, my first choice all the time is go support your local comic book shop. Always. And while you're there, maybe go pick up a Radiant Black number 26. I can't wait for my comic book shop to open. I'm recording this before my shop, but my shop doesn't open till like 11 a.m. And I was like, bro, let me just like, man, I've been up since 6 a.m. every day. Let me go get my comics, please. But that's it. That's it for my review. Uh, dude, if I had to, I don't do number scores or star ratings or anything, but it's a good comic. But that's that's it. That's Alan Scott, Green Lantern #1. Hopefully #2 is better. Hopefully it holds my interest. As a Green Lantern fan, I don't I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm really unsure about this right now. So hopefully, yeah, that's that's it.